Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Hiking and History, the final part of the Hadrian's Wall walk. I actually ended just there yesterday, and now this is day 6, part 6 of the Hadrian's Wall path walk. So walking the whole thing from Wallsend in Newcastle all the way to Bowness-on-Solway outside of Carlisle. Currently leaving through the park. River's right there, forgot the name of it. Final part. I'm pretty tired now, so I'm ready for the walk to come to an end. Like yesterday, there won't be any wall. I don't think any Hadrian's Wall sort of disappears when you get this close to civilization, but we are following the path it went all the way to the coast. So let's do it. Let's end it. Just walking past Carlisle Castle there, just in the distance. The only thing I think I know about Carlisle Castle is that I think Mary Queen of Scots was imprisoned there. At some point I have read a very detailed book on Mary Queen of Scots, and I feel like she was imprisoned there for a while. She was moved around all over for like the 19 years or whatever it was that she was in imprisonment for. Pretty sure that's one of them. But here we are for the final day. Probably a very, well, I don't want to use the word uninteresting walk, because I'm glad that it's a nice change. It's nice and flat. We're just going to be probably following the river to the coast, so it's going to be a lot more kind of open and just relaxed. A relaxed, non-hilly climb, non-hilly walk for the final day, which is what I need really. But for actual content in terms of like history stuff, there's probably not going to be much at all. Just some pretty views, and at least the weather at the moment is pretty good, although it's a lot colder today. It's gone quite chilly, maybe just because I've started earlier in the morning. But this final day just starts going through very pretty parkland. I've actually even stopped using my guidebook now, because the path is so well marked all through here. I think at the start, Newcastle and all that, it's not as well marked, but so far the past, like yesterday, I was barely using my guide as well for day 5, and this one as well. It's just like, it's so well marked that I would still recommend buying one, because there are some sections and sort of in the middle it's better to have it, but for the most part you actually don't need it that much. The path is fantastically well marked. As you can see, there is another marker sign. You just follow that white acorn everywhere, and there's just signposts everywhere directing you, which is great. So this is the final day, as I've mentioned, for trekkers going east to west. But it does pose a problem, the final day east to west, if you do come this way, is that the end point, Bowness-on-Solway, is actually quite remote. There's not much there, and there are very little options in terms of public transport, because I'm not staying anymore. I'm going home today. Like, I'm getting the train back to Stoke straight away. So what I've got to do is catch the number 93 bus, I think it is, which doesn't even go to, it does go to Solway on whatever, like it does go there, but not all the time. The bus timetables are very confusing. I've got contradicting bus timetables. Google's saying something else. So I've got to get to the end, Bowness-on-Solway, and then walk to a different like little village, which hopefully the 93 bus at around about 6:15 in the evening will be there to bring me back to Carlisle, and then from Carlisle I can just get the train and get back home. But that's if because there are contradicting information online and it's a bit unclear about this bus service. But it does say today that it should be running, but it doesn't always run from the actual end point of the hike. It does go there and it does stop there, but it's like very odd times, like in the morning, and that's kind of it. I think there is a very late one actually I've seen, well, very late, but I think it's around about 7 or something like that. But it would get me back into Carlisle, and it'd only give me like 20 minutes leeway to get to like the train station, and I just think it's too risky if the possibility of traffic or if the bus is late. Too risky, so I've had to get one that should be there at about 6:15, which gives me plenty of time to get the train. If it is running, we shall see. If not, emergency taxis it is. Gorgeous views of the river here down this path, very pleasant. And of course, if you're going west to east, this would be your first day following this, but it is my last. Yeah, I'm really liking this path so far. I think if it just keeps following this river, it's going to make it a very nice, relaxing final day. Feet now are in a fair amount of pain. I'm going pretty slow. It was mainly from yesterday. Yesterday was the kind of breaking point for my feet. I was doing so well. Like I thought it would have been like day 3. It's usually like the 3rd day in that they really start giving me grief, when you're doing kind of like 40,000 steps a day, well over 40,000 steps a day, like consecutively, doing it in a row for like 6 days. So yesterday was kind of the breaking point, but I'm still feeling the effects now, so I'm going pretty slow. But my goal is just to be steady, just be a steady pace, even if it's a slow pace, or just consistent. Just keep moving. That way I should get to the end, to Bowness, with enough time to get the bus back. Going away from the river now, I can't really see it. It's just going across fields again. Hopefully we'll join back up to it soon, because I'm tired of fields from yesterday, really. There's another church here in a little village of Beaumont that uses stone that was stolen from Hadrian's wall. That's all that's left of it now along this end. As you just see the occasional church with stone used from the wall. Yeah, so it says on this information board, it's actually pronounced Beaumont, which means beautiful hill. But yeah, it was the church was where one of the mile castles were, just there. And there's even a little ice cream stall or coffee, tea, cake, whatever you like. So that's very nice, but I am not stopping because I am there and I've still got it all the way to there. Down that way. I think probably in the far distance there now, that is Scotland, more than likely, I believe, because as we've got to like Carlisle and closer to the west coast, the border gets closer for Scotland. On the east it's actually still a ways away from Newcastle in that area, but I would imagine that horizon there is definitely Scotland now, because Carlisle's pretty close to like Gretna Green and the border is like right there, it's very close, so more than likely there we are, Scotland. Right, if I get trampled by cows, at least I'll have it on camera because they are right in the way of the gate that I need to get to. Wow, that's muddy. Hello. Excuse me. No, they're not bothered. Which way does this open? There we go. Ugh. Bloody hell. He's a big lad, isn't he? Hello. This cow is very friendly. Hello. Hello. I've not got anything for you. Sorry. Now entering another little village called Beer Sands with another church, 12th century church. Little diddy one. It's also got stone stolen from Hadrian's wall built into it, so that's all we are seeing so far. It says recently just absolutely poured down, big cloud overhead, but it's cleared up now. I managed to shelter under a tree so I didn't get too wet. I think I'm doing okay progress wise as well. There's a big stretch now where it's just doesn't wind or anything, you're just going in one direction for like ages, but that should hopefully mean I can do it fast, I can get the miles done fast. I've just walked back to this church because it actually has something a lot more interesting about it, which I've just read on an information board, which I don't think should be missed. So on this trip as well, I've talked about Edward I a little bit, who, if you don't know, medieval king obviously of England, and he's in the movie Braveheart. He's the villain of Braveheart, you know, against William Wallace and the border wars between England and Scotland at that time. But he actually died very close to here. This is also where the Roman fort would have been. This village is literally built on one of the 16 Roman forts that would have been on Hadrian's wall. But yes, Edward I died very close here. Close by here was ill. He stayed at Lanercost Priory, which I saw yesterday, for like a winter, and then moved on to Carlisle, and then moved up to here because he was preparing to do battle with Robert the Bruce, King of Scotland, and he was going to cross the Solway here, Solway Firth, to do battle, but he died before that because he succumbed to illness. And where did they take his body? Well, they took it right here, and this is where he lay until, like, in state and mourning, until he could be transported to London. This is where he was, which tiny little church that you just walk past. And Edward I, one of the mightiest kings of England. It's not even just like, oh yeah, you know, there's been a 1,000 kings of England, you know, it doesn't really matter. It's like, no, Edward I was like pretty big deal. He was like major, top ranking. Like, if you're going to rank English kings, he's up there. He's like one of the strongest, most powerful, best, depending on how you want to rank him, really. Ruthless, brutal, conquering, you know. But oh Jesus, but that's pretty damn cool that he died close by here, and that's where he was taken for a time before he could be moved to London. But rightio, back onto the path now. There is a Edward I like monument as well. There's signs for it here, but it is a bit off the path, so I'm not going to go there. Don't know if you can see that well because of the lights behind it, but great statue here of Edward I, King of England, who died not far from here on the sands from illness, going to fight the Scots. Very cool statue of him here, love it. This could be possibly the stretch where I'm just following a pretty straight road for about 3 miles or so, maybe more. I've just passed a sign as well that said Bowness was 7 miles away, so 7 miles to go till the very end of Hadrian's Wall, which doesn't sound too bad now. 7 miles, can do that. So there we are, Bowness 6¼ miles, Port Carlisle 5 miles. Oh, so yeah, this is the very long road now, which just follows straight for ages. And here it goes very flat now, and there's all flood warning signs I've just passed as well, because this whole area can flood from the Firth, so the water will just be down there somewhere just over the hill, but I think we should be okay today. There were flood times and all that on there, but there's people walking it. I think it's probably worse later on in the day, and probably more closer to winter. Did say on some of the information boards in the last town as well about how Vikings used to raid all around here, which you can kind of imagine if this kept flooding. And there's a waterway obviously from the river we've been walking down there. Yeah, very dangerous place, deceivingly dangerous, with sort of, you know, quicksand and stuff, people trying to cross it. Many people over the centuries will have died trying to cross this into Scotland. The reivers, which were like raiders, there's all books on these people which I'd like to read. The border reivers from Scotland, tribes people that had come down on boats and raid along the settlements that were put up here. I definitely wouldn't be recommended to go walking anywhere on there. As you can see here, that's just a pond, so it's all very hidden. You go walking on there, you'd probably, it looks okay, but you'd end up in a bog. You could end up getting trapped out there. So yeah, it's one of them places, marshlands which flood often and can easily kill you. Still incredible to think that the Hadrian's Wall would have been built all along here as well. There is a slight ditch there, but I'm not sure if that is actually remains of the Roman ditch or it's just a normal natural ditch. But yeah, it's incredible to think how far I've walked, that the whole thing was connected, built in like probably less than 10 years. You know, so many turrets on it and mile castles, every Roman bloody mile, so many of them, forts along the way. It was an absolutely huge thing. So windy up here. It's a slight crop of land that serves as a little bit of a hill, but then it is just another straight for bloody ages. Oh yeah, I can actually see like where the river is now. Oh wow. Yeah, so it's still about 5 miles this way to the end. Still on this never-ending bloody road. Feet are starting to kill now. Still got a bit to go though. Probably going to have a little break in this village coming up, and then the final push onto Port Carlisle, and then it's probably literally about 20-25 minutes after Port Carlisle is the end. It's within sight, almost. If the wall is here, I imagine it's that mound and then the ditch. That could be it. We could be following the line of it. Oh, beautiful weather along this stretch there, but I imagine it's like permanently windy here. You might be able to just about see where the river is and all the tide and everything. It's all just like mud flats at the moment, but if you went over there you'd probably sink to your death. There's still more, 4 miles. Oh god. Oh, I'm so close to the end of that hell road. I mean, it was a nice change of scenery, but holy shit, it went on for a long time. Final stretch, guys. This is the path. It's heading towards Port Carlisle, and then I think it's probably just over a mile or so after then to Bowness. So this is the big final push. Almost there. There it is, the end. Bowness-on-Solway, 1 3/4 miles. That sounds good. That's not far away. Oh, very close to the sands again now. That's pretty. This is a very pleasant walk though at the end, going into Port Carlisle. This wall here, I'm guessing this might be part of Port Carlisle. Maybe this was part of the port back then. It's all just ruined now. It's definitely not Hadrian's wall, but all the tide can come in here and flood all this very quickly, so yeah, not far now. Yeah, this is a very beautiful area. Must be Port Carlisle. Might be a little boathouse or something there. There's an information board. Probably bustling, maybe 100 years ago. Well, it seems that I'm in Port Carlisle now. That group of buildings over there might be Bowness-on-Solway. So I think it is the next one. Like this track to come past. Oh, here goes the other way, never mind. Group of buildings up ahead, not too far away now. That could be the end of Hadrian's Wall. We'll hope. So close. Beautiful area to end on. It is absolutely gorgeous. It is crazy because it looks like, you know, you'd think, oh, you could walk out over it, but no, that's why no one is out there, because it is very dangerous. All the seagulls can be on it, but you'd either get cut off with water somewhere, or you'd just sink. The mud would just sink like quicksand. Getting closer. I'm so excited just to end it. I'm holding out hope for the bus situation, because I've seen the buses running. I've seen them get one at least going down here, but they are very infrequent. But then on bus stops the whole way. I've been looking at the little timetables on the bus stops the whole way down here, and it says that there is one that leaves at Bowness-on-Solway at like 5, something like that, 5:15, which I didn't think was a thing. So that's why I was going to originally have to carry on after Bowness to get to another little village where Google tells me that the bus is running at like 6. So I'm holding out hope that there is a bus stop in Bowness and it says that there's a bus at about 5ish, fingers crossed, because that would be a lifesaver now. I don't want to have to walk anymore. Oh, those hills in the very distance, probably over kind of that way. A couple of days ago. Oh man, this is crazy. Right, I've got to be pretty close now, just around this corner. Don't know how much further I've got to go after that, but yeah, it's going to be within the next 10 minutes, I think. Oh dear. I see some buildings up ahead and they've got flags on them. Now either that's just a patriotic person, or flags could mean the end of the walk, I feel, possibly. So either very patriotic person, or that's the end. Maybe. I hope it bloody is. Oh, come on. I mean, I'm just about to pass the sign here. It says Bowness-on-Solway, so I'm making it. It's definitely a Union Jack and then a type of Roman flag underneath it, so I'm entering the little village. It's got to be here somewhere, the end point. Bloody hell. 6 days. Look at that, it's a sign. That's a happy sign. To finish at the banks, 130 yards. Oh god. Let's do it. Oh god, I think this is it. It's just down this little alleyway. Here we go. It's this hut, this tiny hut. The end of Hadrian's wall path. And then they've got it in Latin as well. In such a tiny little spot. Hooray! It's done. I've walked the length of Hadrian's wall. And what a beautiful place to end. Oh dear. There you go, if you're going from this side, Wall's End 84 miles. Good luck with you. Well, good luck I have already got, as I've made it. Oh. So there you have it, that is my walk across the entirety of Hadrian's Wall, from Wall's End just outside Newcastle all the way to Bowness-on-Solway. It was a really terrific adventure. I mean, probably day 3 and 4, where the main parts of the wall are the most exciting, but even, you know, from the beginning, going through Newcastle, some absolutely beautiful countryside. We got to see some castles along the way, Lanacross Priory towards the end as well, Carlisle, all places I'd never been before, places that I feel like I've only just discovered and would love to go back and see again. Having to sleep in a barn, that was a new experience, one where I didn't really get much sleep, but there were also met some lovely people along the way. People, just walkers that you'd always talk to along the way. Some of the people whose accommodation I slept in, I remember one of the days actually came out, drove and picked me up, so I didn't have to walk like for an extra hour. Those guys were like super kind and nice. So would I recommend this long distance walk for anyone else? Well, not anyone else. I would recommend it if you are inclined like me to do quite long distance walking. Then it's a fantastic route with lots to see. It's not too difficult, as long as you pack your bags right and don't bring anything too heavy. But if you're not as experienced or not as interested in doing like ridiculously long walks, then Hadrian's Wall is still well worth exploring, but I would watch day 3 and 4 would be the best bets. That's with the most wall that's still intact, and there is some, you can do some great day trips and like day walking on those days. So check those videos out if you actually want to see where to kind of start and head from. Those would be the ones to see. I also need to give a shout out to those people that donated money to me for this route, because I was raising money for the Etruria Industrial Museum back home, and we raised around about £150 in the end. So everyone's name that donated is going to appear here now at the end. So big thank you to all those people. Well, that's it. That's all I have to say, I think, about the Hadrian's Wall video series. It has now come to an end finally. So yeah, I will see you in whatever the next adventure will be. So like and subscribe and all the YouTube stuff, and I will see you later.